Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Be sure to subscribe to our channel. We publish new videos every day. Don't forget, grab your smartphone and download the Lava Matra app and stay in touch. Guru Maharaj's message is your advantage. The following is a Sri Krishna Chaitanya book compilation by His Holiness Jaya Pataka Swami Maharaj on December 22nd, 2020 in Sri Mayapur, India.
Angulang ayate yarim Katithātamahan vande Sri Gurum Nidadadinam Paramanandamādhavam Sri Chaitanya Isram Hare Om Tat Sat.
Hare Krishna. Today we will continue with the compilation of the Sri Krishna Chaitanya book. Today's chapter is entitled as Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya questions Lord Chaitanya's need of accepting sannyas, part 3. Chaitanya Bhagavat.
মায়াবাদ সন্ন্যাসে দাম্ভিকতা মাত্র লাভ শিখা সূত্র ঘুচাইয়া সবে লাভ নমস্কার করে আসি মহামহাভাগ
One gains by giving up one's Sika and Brahmin side.
One gains by giving up one's Sikha and Brahmin trait.
Great, respectable, and fortunate people
Great, respectable, and fortunate people
offer one of their obeisances.
offer one their obeisances.
Sarvabhauma is saying that the only people gets gains by taking sannyas, that respectable people offer their obeisances.
Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is saying that by taking sannyas, one get respected by respectable people offering them obeisances.
প্রথমে শুনিয়া এক অপচয় এবে আর শোনো সর্বনাশ বুদ্ধি ক্ষয়
First loss. This is the first loss in accepting sannyas.
This is the first loss in accepting sannyas.
Hear about the other loss,
Now hear about the other laws
by which one's intelligence becomes ruined.
by which one's intelligence becomes ruined.
জীবের স্বভাব ধর্মই নিত্য কৃষ্ণ দাস তদ ব্যতীত অপর ধর্ম অপরাধ বহুল জীবের স্বভাব ধর্ম ঈশ্বর ভজন তাহা ছাড়ি আপনারে বলে নারায়ণ
Constitutional nature and duty of the living entity is to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
The constitutional nature and duty of the living entity is to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
But after taking sannyas,
After taking sannyas,
one gives up that mentality
one gives up that mentality
and calls himself Narayana.
and calls himself Narayana.
And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya seems to understand the defects, the problems of the Mayavadi sannyas.
So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya seems to understand the facts, the problems of the Mayavadi sannyas.
Because the Vaishnava sannyasi is his thoughts, words, and deeds in the service of the Supreme Lord.
Of course, the Vaishnava sannyasis uses his thoughts, words, and deeds in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 5.10.23, it is stated, if one is engaged in his occupational duty as ordered by the Supreme Lord, his sinful activities are certainly diminished. Also, stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2.33, I consider that one whose intelligence is constantly disturbed by his falsely identifying himself with the temporary material world can achieve real freedom from fear only by worshipping the lotus feet of the infallible Supreme Lord. Such devotional service, in such devotional service, all fear ceases entirely.
গর্ভবাসে যে ঈশ্বর করিলেন রক্ষা, যাহার প্রসাদে হইল বুদ্ধি জ্ঞান শিক্ষা।
The Supreme Personality protects the living entity when he is residing in the womb of his mother.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead protects the living entity right from the womb of his mother.
When he is within the womb of his mother.
When he is within the womb of his mother.
By the Lord's causeless mercy,
By the Lord's causeless mercy,
the living entity
obtains intelligence and knowledge.
দাস্য লাগি শেষ অজ ভব মা, পাইয়াও নিরবধি করেন কামনা।
Ananda Sesa, Brahma, Shiva, and the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Devi.
Ananta Shesha, Brahma, Shiva, and the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Devi,
all desire to attain the devotional service
always desire to obtain the devotional service
of that Supreme Personality.
Of that Supreme Personality of Godhead.
সৃষ্টি স্থিতি প্রলয় যাহার দাসে করে, লজ্জা নাই হেন প্রভু বলে আপনারে।
Who serves chaos, the creation, maintenance, and destruction of the material manifestation.
Whose servants carry out the creation, maintenance, and destruction of the material manifestation.
Yet the shameless sannyasi claims to be himself that Supreme Lord.
Yet the shameless sannyasi claims himself to be the Supreme Lord.
নিদ্রা হইলে আপনায় কে ইহাও না জানে, আপনারে নারায়ণ বলে হেন জনে।
Sannyasi claims himself the quote Narayana unquote.
The sannyasi claims himself to be quote Narayana unquote.
Even though he does not know who he is.
Even though he does not know who he is.
Once he falls asleep.
Once he falls asleep.
কৃষ্ণই জগৎ পিতা, জগতের পিতা কৃষ্ণ সর্ববেদে কয়, পিতারে সে ভক্তি করে যে সে পুত্র হয়।
Krishna is the father of the entire universe.
Krishna is the father of the entire universe.
The Vedas declare.
The Vedas,
All the
Vedas declare,
and the obedient son
and the obedient son
render devotional service to the father.
Will render devotional service to his father.
So, living entities in the spiritual world are all conscious of Krishna.
So, the living entities in the spiritual world, they are all conscious of Krishna.
They want to serve Krishna.
And they want to serve Krishna.
But in this material world, I think the world is meant for their enjoyment.
But in this material world, they think that the world is made for their enjoyment,
And they forget about Krishna.
and they forget about Krishna.
This is the cause of repetition of birth and death.
This is the cause of the repetition of birth and death. In the Mayavada Shatadushani, it is stated, O friend, the Supreme is all-knowing and He sees everything. From Him, this entire astonishing and variegated material cosmos has emanated. He creates, maintains and destroys the entire universe by a slight movement of His eyebrows. O friend, you are not like Him. You are ignorant of so many things and your vision is limited, although you wish to see everything. The Supreme Lord is full of all opulences, and He is the ultimate witness who observes everyone. O friend, the individual living entities are numerous, but the Supreme Lord is one only. You are stunted by an impure because of material contact, but He remains always pure and free from the touch of matter. O friend, your nature is completely different from His in this way.
Mayavadi Satadachani Sisana is stated.
Also, in the Mayavada Shatadushani, it is stated, 67. The Supreme Lord is the husband of the goddess of fortune. He is a nectarian ocean of transcendental bliss. Lord Shiva and all the great demigods serve Him. The sacred Ganges is the water that has washed His feet. Before the material cosmos was manifested, He created everything in a moment simply by slightly moving His eyebrows. O individual spirit soul, your continual muttering of Soham, I am the Supreme, is completely unreasonable and illogical. He is the Supreme Master, the Supreme Monarch who rules all existence, and you are His small son, always dependent on His protection.
So, these verses are describing some of the misunderstandings of the Mayavadis.
So these verses are describing some of the misunderstandings of the Mayavadis. In Mayavada Shatadushani 69, it is stated, O individual spirit soul, please give up the muttering of Soham. I am the Supreme. Know that you are the eternal servant of Lord Hari. Engage in His pure devotional service and thus become qualified to enter eternal spiritual world. If you reject the service of Lord Hari, you will fall down into the womb of mothers in many different species, and you will suffer great anguish as you wander among the hells and heavens of the material world.
And this Mayavada Satadusani is 100 effects of Mayavadi philosophy.
So, this Mayavada Satadushani means 100 defects of the Mayavada philosophy.
74.
Mayavada Satadushani 73 to 74. By the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the individual living entities are endowed with tiny fragment of consciousness. Oh, rascal Mayavadi, do not on this account arrogantly proclaim, I am actually the Supreme. By saying this, you have become like a criminal-minded person who obtains elephants, cavalry, and infantry from the king on the plea of begging for protection during a journey, and then decides to use all those soldiers as his own personal armies of bandits to plunder the king's property on the royal roads.
The point is that all the opulences with the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
So, the point is that all the opulences are with the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
But the Mayavadi thinks that he is God.
But the Mayavadi thinks that he is God.
And so this Mayavada Satyadusani points out that he's not God.
So, this Mayavada Satadushani points out that he is not God.
That he's wandering the energy of God.
But he is plundering the energy of God.
That's a great defect.
So, that's a great defect. Chaitanya Bhagavat.
সন্ন্যাসী ও যোগী কি তথাই শ্রী গীতায়ন 9:17 পিতামহস্য জগতে মাতা ধাতা পিতামহ
I am the father of this universe, the mother, the support, and the grandsire.
গীতা শাস্ত্রে অর্জুনের সন্ন্যাস করণ শুনো এই যাহা কহিয়াছে নারায়ণ
Here was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan, Krishna, said to Arjuna,
Hear what the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan, Krishna, said to Arjuna.
in the Bhagavad Gita,
Bhagavad Gita,
Arjuna wanted to renounce his duty.
when Arjuna wanted to renounce his duty,
হি গীতা 6:1 অনাশ্রিত কর্মফলং কার্যং কর্মং করতি য স সন্ন্যাসী চ যোগী চ ন নিরগ্নি ন চক্রিয়
one who's unattached to the fruits of his work, and one who works as he is obligated is in the renounced order of life, and he is the true mystic, not he who lights no fire and performs no duty.
নিষ্কাম হইয়াও করে যে কৃষ্ণ ভজন তাহারে সে বলি যোগী সন্ন্যাসী লক্ষণ
He who engages in the worship of Lord Krishna
He who engages in the worship of Lord Krishna
without any selfish desire,
without desiring selfish desires,
not material desire,
without material desires,
is called a yogi and a sannyasi
is called a yogi and a sannyasi
by his symptoms.
by his symptoms. One who gives up the four objectives of life, religiosity, economic development, sense gratification and liberation, and cultivation of devotional service without motive is actually a yogi or sannyasi.
বিষ্ণুক্রিয়া না করিলে পরান্ন খাইলে কিছু নহে সাক্ষাতে এই বেদে বলে
Vedas explicitly say
The Vedas exclusively say
that he is worth nothing.
that he is worth of nothing.
If one does not engage in serving
If one
the Supreme Lord Vishnu,
If one does not engage in serving the Supreme Lord Vishnu
and depends on others for his food,
and depends on others for his food, accepting sannyas devoid of devotional service to Vishnu is like depending on others for one's food. It is useless. The perfection of activities is to attain love of God, as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 3.23.56. Neha yat karma dharmaya na viragaya kalpate na tirtha pada sevayai jivan napi mrito isaha. Anyone whose work is not meant to elevate him to religious life Anyone whose religious ritualistic performance do not raise him to renunciation, and anyone situated in renunciation that does not lead him to devotional service to the Supreme Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead, must be considered dead although he is breathing.
Srila Prabhupada, he was studying one day, sitting in the airport.
So Srila Prabhupada, he was stating one day, sitting in the airport,
All these people are living dead.
all these people are living dead.
And this verse explains why everyone can be considered living dead.
So this verse explains why everyone can be considered as living dead.
প্রকৃত ধর্ম কর্ম বিদ্যা সদাচার কি তথাই ভাগবত 4:29-49
One's only activities should be those that can please the personality of Godhead. And education should be such that one becomes elevated to Krishna consciousness. Since Sri Hari is the super soul of all living entities who have accepted material bodies within this world, he is the supreme cause and controller of everything.
আরে সে বলি ধর্ম কর্ম সদাচার ঈশ্বরে সে প্রীতি জন্মে সম্মত সবার
The what is known as religiosity, pious activities, and proper codes of conduct.
This is known as religiosity, pious activities, and proper codes of conduct.
Are laws by which one develops love
Are those by which one develops love
for the Supreme Personality.
for the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
This is the opinion of all.
This is the opinion of all.
আরে সে বলি বিদ্যা মন্ত্র অধ্যায়ন কৃষ্ণ পাদ পদ্মে যে করে স্থির মন
What is known as knowledge
What is known as knowledge
or education,
or education,
chanting a mantra,
chanting of mantra,
study of the scriptures,
and study of the scriptures,
and those by which one fixes his mind
are those by which one fixes his mind
on the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna.
at the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna.
কৃষ্ণই সর্বমূল সর্বপ্রাণ সবার জীবন কৃষ্ণ জনক সবার হেন কৃষ্ণ যে না ভজে সর্বব্যর্থ তার
Lord Krishna and life of everyone.
Lord Krishna is the life of everyone
And the Father of everyone.
and the Father of everyone.
And one does not worship
One does not worship
that Supreme Lord Krishna.
that Supreme Lord Krishna.
Everything in life is useless.
Everything in life is useless.
His life.
Everything in his life is useless.
So, and to say that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is giving
So we can see that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is giving
nice Krishna conscious instruction.
nice Krishna conscious instructions.
Although he is a teacher of many Mayavadi sannyasis,
That although he is a teacher for many Mayavadi sannyasis,
you can see that his actual understanding is oriented on pure devotional service to Krishna.
we can see that his actual understanding is oriented on pure devotional service of Krishna.
I'll continue reading tomorrow.
We'll continue reading tomorrow.
Do you like our ad-free videos? Be sure to subscribe to our channel. We publish new videos every day, and don't forget to like and share our channel.